Hello, and welcome back for another week of Herb Appeal Trivia, the show that proves time and time again that you can be happy to see people and have a banana in your pocket. But more on that later. If you're not familiar with me, my name is John Chezik, and I will be the host for the evening. And I also run Herb Appeal Tours, the #1 tour company in Detroit, according to the cutest dog in Detroit, according to me, Charlie Brown. Woo, Charlie! Does not enjoy his time in the spotlight. All right, once again, we are reminding everybody to vote, register to vote, vote. If you have not already sent in your absentee ballot, I believe it is too late, but have no fear. If you scroll down to the description of this video, you'll be able to find a link to places that you can drop off your ballot if you live in Michigan. If you don't live in Michigan, Google it. All right. Also, if you are interested in doing private trivia, what's private trivia? It's just like this, but private for your group. It's perfect for team building exercises, icebreakers for meetings, online events of any kind, including online classes. So if you're interested, reach out to us at hello@herbappealtours.com. Also, if you're interested in sponsoring this public trivia, reach out to us also at hello@herbappealtours.com. You only got the one email. All right, I'd like to give a huge thank you to Nick and Sarah and Charlie helping out behind the scenes once again. Charlie lives with me and I feed him, so he's got to do what I say. But Nick and Sarah don't. And they're nice enough to help out every week. And they never seem to mind that when I'm doing a lot of woodworking, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. So cheers to them.
What's the last thing you made?
Last thing I made a dartboard, actually.
Out of wood.
Out of wood, a wood dartboard. I throw darts really hard. Really, yeah, like crazy hard. Yeah, it's me. Yeah, me, Joel Zumaya plays. Who's that tall guy from the 90s? He plays. The guy that blew up the bird. What is that guy's? Randy Johnson. Yes, he plays as well. The big unit. Yeah. Yeah, he's got huge hands. All right, enough with the jokes. Time to get serious about this trivia. If you haven't already, go to crowd.live/herbappeal on your second device, because that's where you're going to put in the answers to these questions I'm getting ready to pose. Now, keep in mind, there is a time component to the question, so the quicker you can get that correct answer in, the more points you will receive. Now, the person with the most points at the end of each game is going to be the winner for that game. But each game, there's going to be 3 winners, because 9th place is going to go home with $5 to Borrow Resale, a fantastic resale shop in Eastern Market. You can find their stuff online at their website, on Instagram, or you can make an appointment to go shop in person. Now, 2nd place is getting that same $5 to Borrow and $5 to Gracie Apothecary, which makes all sorts of essential oils, herbal tea blends, all kinds of great stuff that's good for you, probably. It's not bad for you, I can tell you that. Now, 1st place is getting both of those gift certificates and a free walking tour with Herb Appeal Tours. If you're interested, hit us up at hello@herbappealtours.com. All right, in between each game, we're going to do another round of Ask John. So be sure to get your questions for me, whether they're about Detroit or baseball, which I don't know that much about, or even something as simple as what I'm going to make for dinner after this. Go ahead and get those questions in now, because there's a delay, and I might not get to them if you wait till in between each game. All right, I think that covers it for pre-trivia talking. So let's get started with the trivia talking. Question 1. What proposal are Detroiters voting on that is asking for $250 million in bonds for blight removal? Is it A, Proposal G? Is it B, Proposal D? Is it C, Proposal N? Or is it D, Proposal M? Looking for which proposal it is. Believe it or not, That is C, proposal N. It's also the reason I've not dropped off my ballot yet, because I still cannot decide which way I want to vote on that. If you have an opinion on which way to vote, go ahead and put that in the chat, because I'm taking all comers in terms of opinions on that. Looks like 44% of you knew that. Way to go. On to question 2. Who is the building where the Spirit of Detroit is located named after? Is it A, Coleman Young? Is it B, Antoine Cadillac? Is it C, Dennis Archer? Or is it D, Jerome Kavanaugh? I'm missing a word there in the question, but you know it. You get the gist of it. Also, where City Hall is located, and that is A, Coleman Young Municipal Center. Question 3. Which of these steakhouses is not downtown? Is it A, London Chop House? Is it B, Roast? Is it C, D Prime? Or is it D, Capers? And for the steakhouse that is not downtown, they're all great steakhouses. I guess I have not been to D Prime yet because they just changed the name of that. The correct answer is D, Capers. D Prime used to be the Wolfgang Puck restaurant in MGM Grand. It's like 61% of you knew that. Capers, they're known for steak by the ounce, fries by the pound, margaritas by the liter. All right, that's 3 questions. Let's take a look at our leaderboard. See here, in 9th place in line for that $5 to borrow is Mikey H with 75 points, it looks like. In 2nd place in line for $5 to borrow and $5 to Gracie Apothecary is Miriam Franchke. And in 1st place, Dave and Tanya, 240 points. Way to go, Dave and Tanya. All right, on to question 4. What building is this taken from? Is it A, the Riverfront Towers? Is it B, Penobscot? Is it C, Renaissance Center? Or is it D, the Fisher Building? The bird's eye view here. And that is taken from C, the Renaissance Center, by a photographer known for trespassing. Looks like 94% of you got that right. I had a feeling that was going to be an easy one for you guys. Question 5. What famous venue did Jack White save from foreclosure in 2013? Is it A, Fillmore Theater? Is it B, St. Andrews? Is it C, Magic Stick? Or is it D, Masonic Temple? Remember, they're going into tax foreclosure. But Jack White swooped in at the 11th hour and paid their tax bill. That, of course, was D, the Masonic Temple. Way back in 2013. Well, 67% of you knew that. If any of you are less than 7 years old, that was before you were born. Question 6. What is the name of the Dearborn-based ride-sharing service that started this year? Is it A, Zoom Ride? Is it B, Lyft? Is it C, Uber? Or is it D, Rush Ride? It had a soft opening in September. One heck of a year to start a ride-sharing service. And that name of that is A, Zoom Ride. I know, right? Rush Ride I came up with on the spot. That was a better name than Zoom Ride. All right, so that's another 3 questions. So we're going to take a look at our leaderboard. So in 9th place, Sarah H. with 233 points. In 2nd place, Dave and Tanya moving down 399 points. Moving up to 1st is Miriam Franchke. Way to go, Miriam. Looks like we got B. Bookmeyer playing tonight. Eric Burson playing tonight. I believe, is that Eric Burson? Is that your
the
high school high school counselor to the stars, Eric Burson? In last place, Joey the Docksman Sullivan. Just can't keep up. Doesn't have it in him. All right.
What, 9 questions left?
Yeah, he's got time. Question 7. What automaker changed the name of their Hamtramck/Detroit assembly plant to, quote, Factory Zero? Is it A, Ford? Is it B, Toyota? Is it C, FCA? Or is it D, GM? Factory Zero, they announced this just a little bit, about a week or two ago. That is, of course, D, GM. Factory Zero seems like a weird name to switch something to in the middle of a pandemic, but and they didn't ask me. Only 35% of you got that. Looks like 35% also thought Toyota. Very few thought it was FCA. Question 8. How many Detroit mayors were there before Mike Duggan? Is it A, 44? Is it B, 74? Is it C, 64? Is it D, 54? It obviously ends in a 4, but which one was it? I'll tell you. It was B, 74. He's our 75th mayor. Only 7% of you got that right. It looks like a lot of you thought it was 64. Beatles fans out there. Everything else pretty evenly split. Question 9. What Detroit restaurant is this taken at? Is it A, Lafayette County? Is it B, Click Restaurant? Is it C, Bronx Bar? Is it D, Dooley's Place? Obviously very tight quarters there. The food is good. And that is at D, Dooley's Place. On the really great conies and the breakfast salad, which everybody like. 41% of you got that right. It looks like a split between Lafayette and Dooley's. Understandable. Well, that is another 3 in the books, which means we're going to take a look at our leaderboard. So it looks like we have a tie for 9th place between B. Bookmeyer and Connor Good, former backyard neighbors, going at it. In 2nd place, Dave and Tanya, 565 points. And in 1st place, Miriam Pranchke, holding on to that 1st place. Question 10. What did Little Caesars call their breadsticks? Is it A, wacky bread? Is it B, crazy bread? Is it C, insane bread? Or is it D, loony bread? Or which one it is called? And that is obviously B, crazy bread. 100%. Whoa, I think it's the 2nd or 3rd time in Urban Field Trivia history that's happened. But then it comes down to who gets the fastest. Nick's saying 30 times. Question 11. What is the mascot of Detroit's Pershing High School? Is it A, infantrymen? Is it B, dog faces? Is it C, shock troops? Or is it D, doughboys? For the mascot of Pershing High School. And the correct answer there is D, doughboys. What's interesting about all those choices is they're all apparently synonyms for themselves. Doughboy was the name of infantrymen during World War I, which is when John Pershing was a general. Looks like 65% of you knew that. Way to go. Honestly, until I looked that up, I had no idea. Nick, did you know? Nick knew. Sarah? No, did not know. Pete McGrath. Hasn't played in a while. Question 12. In what year was the city of Warren incorporated? Is it A, 1833? Is it B, 1893? Is it C, 1924? Or is it D, 1957? For the year the city of Warren was incorporated. And that is D, 1957. Village was 1893, but the city was 1957. Only 6% of you got that right. Like a lot of you thought it was 1924. Whoever that one person is, you're feeling pretty good about yourself right now. Way to go. Question 13. What park did Jack White donate nearly $170,000 to in 2008? Is it A, Clark Park? Is it B, Paradise Valley Park? Is it C, Belle Isle? Or is it D, Rouge Park? second Jack White philanthropy question. Obviously, he's a very giving guy. Doesn't spend it at the tanning salon, that's for sure. Correct answer is A, Clark Park. Spent a lot of money renovating the baseball diamonds there where he played as a youth. Or Ute. All right, from here on out, we'll take a look at our leaderboard after every question. So in 9th place, we have Steven Eiserman's, plural, with 474 points. In 2nd place is Miriam Pranchke. Looks like Dave and Tanya at 826 points jumped over Miriam there. It isn't hard to do. She's pretty short. Kevin Klepp's playing tonight. My mom's playing, and stepdad Dan. Sarah H., welcome back. Laura R., welcome back, former winner. Joey Sullivan still bringing up that rear. May have gotten in trouble. Question 14. In what neighborhood is this apartment building being built? Is it A, Woodbridge? Is it B, Midtown? Is it C, Downtown? Or is it D, Eastern Market? They just broke ground on this guy. And they did that on Grand River in A, Woodbridge. Yeah, it's going to be called the OC, OSI. I don't know. I've never heard anybody say it out loud. OC is what I'm guessing. It's supposed to be catering to artists. That's, I'm guessing, why they made it so whimsical and quirky. OC? OC? OSI. Looks like 47% of you thought it was Midtown. I can see why. Let's take a look at that leaderboard. So in 9th place, still Steven Eiserman's, plural, it's still that same 474 points. 2nd place, Miriam Pranchke, 836 points. Just barely beating out Anna Ebright, or Ebright. Sorry, Anna, I don't know how to pronounce your last name. 1st place, Dave and Tanya. Is there a last name in Dave and Tanya?
Dave Daly and Tanya Gonzalez, Woodbridge residents.
Woodbridge residents. That's no wonder they knew that one.
Yeah, Woodbridge soccer team.
Woodbridge soccer team. No kidding. Question 15.
No kidding.
Final question of game 1. Which of these pizza joints is in Southwest Detroit? Is it A, Sapino? Is it B, Buddy's? Is it C, Sicily's? Or is it D, Shields? Frequent this pizza joint quite frequently. Yeah, that doesn't sound right. Butch League right there. Correct answer is C, Sicily's. Right there on Verner Highway. They've been building out a sit-down section for like 2.5 years now. Only 29% of you knew that. See how many of you got to change that anything for the final standing board. Nick loves it when I mess things up. All right, in 9th place, going on with $5 a borrow resale is Connor Good. In 2nd place, going with $5 a borrow, I know she wanted it, and $5 to Gracie Apothecary is Miriam Pranchke. And in 1st place, I believe newcomers to the game, Dave and Tanya. Oh, they played before. Never mind. 978 points, $5 a borrow, $5 to Gracie Apothecary, and a free walking tour with me. And maybe Nick if he wants to go.
We'll think about it.
All right, we will take a look at our questions here. What are you making for Din Din? Asks Joseph Sullivan. I'm going to make some chicken thighs, and Nick, Sarah, and I are going to have some bone marrow to go along with it. Connor Good, who's your favorite Detroit Rockers player? And actually, probably the next question is better by Brian Bookmeyer. Name one Detroit Rockers player, and the correct answer is no, I can't. Can you name a Rockers player, Nick?
I cannot.
Nick is a soccersman.
Rocker is soccer.
Rocker is soccer, yeah. It looks like those are all the questions we have thus far. Might have a few seconds to get them in. Am I having for dinner tomorrow? Probably chicken thighs again. Bought a lot of them at the store. Oh, sign of that beer opening means Nick is ready for game 2. Let's get started. Question 1. Who did the Lions defeat on Sunday? Is it A, Jacksonville Jaguars? Is it B, the Green Bay Packers? Is it C, the Cleveland Browns? Is it D, the New England Patriots? I figured since we always make fun of the Lions on the show, might as well give them credit when they do actually win a game. Yeah, Matt Patricia lives to fight another week. And that is a Jacksonville Jaguars. Wow. Jaguar. 75% of you knew that. Way to go. Question 2. What Eastern Market business is this taken in front of? Is it A, Bert's Warehouse? Is it B, Cutters? Is it C, Gratiot Central Market? Or is it D, Red Bull Arts? Looking for the business that's taken in front of. And that should be no surprise. That is A, Bert's Warehouse, famous jazz and blues club. This is a huge warehouse space in the back. It can hold over 5,000 people. I saw a boxing match there once. 44% of you got that right. And the bar graph there makes a nice slope. Pleasing to the eye. Slope this way, apparently. Y equals MX plus B. Question 3. How much was the cheapest Model T when it was first released in 1908? Was it A, $725? Was it B, $525? Was it C, $425? Or is it D, $825? The price of the cheapest Model T, this is a baseline, bottom of the barrel Model T in 1908. And that was D, $825, or the equivalent of $18,000 in today's money. It did come down in price over the years, but initially they were still pretty expensive for the average guy. It's like only 19% of you got that. Looks like a lot of you thought it was $525. That's okay. It'll be better next time. Let's take a look at our leaderboard. In ninth place, we have Connor Good looking to really rack up that $5 to borrow. In second place, Anna Ebright, 168 points. And in first place, high school counselor to the stars, Eric Burson, 206 points. Representing that GPS. In eighth place, we have Rigged the Game. Kamel, just do better. Question 4. Yeah, Joey laughed when she took it. He had enough abuse. Question 4. How many fire stations are there in the city of Detroit? Is it A, 14? Is it B, 24? Is it C, 34? Or is it D, 44? Again, looking for the number of fire stations in the city of Detroit. Pretty obscure one. Guessing everybody's going to be guessing. That is C, 34. Yeah. 34. It's like 41% of you probably guessed right at 34. Question 5. Which of these is the name of a LGBTQ newspaper headquartered in Metro Detroit? Is it A, Between the Lines? Is it B, Hour? Is it C, MLive? Or is it D, Metro Times? Looking for the name of the newspaper, the weekly newspaper. It's free. And it is A, Between the Lines. And I found out today it is actually headquartered in Livonia, which is interesting. Not what I would have guessed. 71% of you got that right. Way to go. On to question 6. Which of these cities does not have a cider mill? Is it A, Plymouth, B, Bloomfield Hills, C, Rochester, or D, Canton? Definitely cider mill time of year. You can go get stung by a bunch of bees. Actually, that's what always happens to me. Correct answer is D, Canton. Rochester has like 4. It's crazy. All right, that's 6 in the books, which means we're going to take a look at our leaderboard. In 9th place, we have Dave and Tanya Daly, and I can't read that quickly. 2nd place, Mikey H, 291 points. And in 1st place, B. Bookmeyer, 338 points. All right, on to question 7. What Motown group is this? Is it A, the Temptations, B, the Four Tops, C, the Supremes, or D, the Jackson 5? Nick's counting out. Correct answer there is B, the Four Tops. You guys got 67% of you got that right. No, one person thought it was the Jackson 5, which that's okay. Question 8. How many terminals does DTW have? Is it A, 3, B, 1, C, 2, or D, 4? May have heard Sarah whisper it really loudly. And if so, you know the answer is C, 2. 59% of you got that right. A lot of you thought it was 4. Question 9. What kind of mine is beneath the city of Detroit? Is it A, pepper? Is it B, copper? Is it C, gold? Or is it D, salt? The type of mine, not mine, mine. That is D, salt. Nick, I don't know why you're laughing. A lot of my relatives were pepper miners. 100% of you got that right. Well, and there's 200% in 1 week. I'll make these questions harder. No, I really hope somebody put pepper mine. All right, let's take a look at our leaderboard. In 9th place, Kevin Kleps, in line for that $5 to borrow. In 2nd place, in line for both gift certificates, is Sarah H. 1st place, starting to run away with it, is B. Bookmeyer. They're mysterious. Oh, Joey's back. Still in last place. Good for him. Question 10. What body of water does the Detroit River flow into? Is it A, Lake Erie? Is it B, Lake St. Clair? Is it C, Lake Michigan? Or is it D, the Ohio River? Looking for which body of water it flows into. Going south, help you out a little bit, and that is A, Lake Erie. 72% of you got that right. 28% thought it was Lake St. Clair. That's where it starts, but then it flows down to Lake Erie. Either way, timer it down. Question 11. Which of these churches is in Grand Circus Park? Is it A, St. Joseph's? Is it B, St. Anne's? Is it C, Central United Methodist? Or is it D, First Unitarian Universalist? I don't even know what that would believe in, but it's the thing. That is C, Central United Methodist. That's where Martin Luther King Jr. started a march of 100,000 people, and he gave his I Have a Dream speech for the first time ever. Like 56% of you got that right. 2 people thought it was the First Unitarian Universalist. That's actually right by Wayne State in Midtown. St. Anne's is here in Southwest. St. Joseph's is in Eastern Market. Question 12. In what neighborhood is University of Detroit Mercy's law school? Is it A, Midtown? Is it B, University District? Is it C, Core City? Or is it D, downtown? For the law school specifically, and that is D, downtown. Right on Jefferson. I heard you, Sarah. Question 13. How many 7-Elevens are there in the city of Detroit? Is it A, 3, B, 5, C, 1, or D, 2? The number of 7-Elevens. I was kind of creating a Slurpee earlier when I was coming up with these questions. And there are D2 questions. If you know what that means, quack, 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 quack. Let's take a look at the leaderboard. 28% of you got that right. Looks like a lot of you thought it was 5. I wish. Maybe one day. Looks like in 9th place we've got Connor Good, $5 to borrow. In 2nd place, Dave and Tanya Daly and something. It goes by to I can't read it. 708 points. Narrowly being beat by B. Bookmeyer with 770 points. And Kamel, he changed his name from Rig to Game. Back in the top 3. This could be your week, Kamel. Who knows? Question 14. In what year was the Detroit Windsor Tunnel opened? Is it A, 1950? Is it B, 1930? Is it C, 1920? Or is it D, 1940? This one is the car tunnel, not the rail tunnel. And the rail tunnel is not on, the opening is not one of the options. I'm not trying to trick you. But the correct answer is B, 1930. Started digging on one side, started digging on the other, and they're only off by about 6 inches. Pretty good precision, yeah. All right, let's take a look at that leaderboard, see if that question changed anything. In 9th place, Jared Bookmeyer, J-Rod, way to go, in line for $5 to borrow. Climbing up the ranks, Kamel Kanji in 2nd place, in line for $5 to borrow and $5 to Gracie Apothecary. In 1st place, B. Bookmeyer will not be denied. We'll find out. Question 15. What sport is this? Is it A, bolt ball? Is it B, pinball? Is it C, extreme bowling? Or is it D, bowling? The name of this sport, which was invented right here in Detroit. They actually play it in Hamtramck. And that is, of course, D, bowling. How many of you guys got that right? 75%. Let's see if that changed anything with our final rankings here. So it did. In 9th place, Anna L. Ebright, going with $5 to borrow resale. In 2nd place, Kamel Kanji, going with $5 to borrow and $5 to Gracie Apothecary. In 1st place, I believe a 2nd-time champion, B. Bookmeyer, going with $5 to borrow, $5 to Gracie Apothecary, and a free walking tour with me. Well, that is all the trivia we have for you for today. Hopefully you guys had a good time. I know I did. So next week, be sure to tell your friends, your family, your orthodontist to join us for next week for more trivia. Until then, stay happy, stay healthy, and as always, stay hungry. Got The Good Dinosaur, which is apparently a movie. Disney. I've never heard of it. Oh yeah, appears to be some sort of. I don't know. It'll get blurry.
Long neck dinosaur.
Yeah, long neck.
Apatosaurus.
Or Brachiosaurus, perhaps, but it doesn't have the nose on the head like a Brachiosaurus. Perhaps a Brontosaurus. No, they changed it back. It's back to being a dinosaur again. I don't know, 2006, I guess. I know what happened, though.
Pluto.
No, they never came back on Pluto.
Oh, I came back.
One man doesn't make a difference.
Don't let anyone tell you otherwise.